How's everyone doing? Have a good weekend? Yes? All right. Okay. So this whole week, we're going to actually center around the self. We had asked all of you for your suggestions as to what were the topics you wanted addressed. And we've received a ton of different answers. So we're going to look at incorporating some topic or the other every week that we're following. However, what we realized, a lot of people had written in different words and different sentiments and emotions was the self, different aspects of the self that they were struggling with. I have some of your messages on my phone, so I'm going to actually read them or sort of speak about how further we're going to address them during this week. But we will be essentially all of this week, and we'll see if it needs to be extended, be speaking about the self, different aspects of the self, and how at certain times, without even realizing, we end up blocking ourselves more than anyone ever could, any situation ever could, and having havoc within our lives, wherein the understanding of all that we actually stand for is that everything begins with the self. It is an extremely scary and at the same time an extremely empowering thought. All right, it's scary because people are like, oh, okay, so anything that's going right or wrong in my life has to do with me. So there's going to always be some people that are going to be extremely scared of that statement, because it means everything that's going on that's wrong in your life is going to come back to you. It's going to come back to something that you need to resolve within you. Which, while we might feel really pressured within a situation, you might be dealing with something hard in your life. And that feels hard enough as it is. Now, the minute somebody tells you, yes, but this is all you, this is all self-created. We also see a sigh of like disdain sometimes when we're doing a session and we ask them, okay, so what was the learning you got from this instance? And sometimes when we feel so much pressure, or we feel so harrowed under a situation or a person that we're dealing with, which feels really difficult to deal with, it almost gives us some relief at a certain level to be able to assign blame somewhere. Because till then, you're carrying the weight of the entire situation and the responsibility to change it. Now, the minute I get to assign some of that load outside of me, it feels relieving. The minute I get to actually say, yes, but this person is toxic. Yes, but the situation was extremely wrong. Their reaction was extremely wrong. The minute I get, so it could be in both terms. One could be in assigning the problem outwards of you. That, this is actually because of this situation, this person, this thing, this illness is actually sucking the life out of me. So nobody enjoys that illness, but to be able to at least assign how you are feeling physically, emotionally, mentally in that space outside of you feels like a little weight off your shoulder. Oh, it's actually, because of this illness. Now, similar, so one is we look to assign that blame and that takes the weight off us. A healthier other way to assign something would be to actually get that help. But when we assign complete responsibility to a third party, to an outside source, and we say, yes, I feel miserable, but now it's all up to this person to make me feel better. Now it's all up to the doctor to make me better. It's all up to the universe to figure this out for me. Trusting the universe, having the universe work with you, extremely essential things, right? Things that can really help make so many things easier. But the minute I say, okay, so now I have this problem, the universe only has to deal with it, and I lay my hands off it, nothing's moving. But we all look, why is it that even though we all pray to different gods, or, there's some atheists also, but they'll believe there's some, common thread that's running the universe. Why does that concept give us so much peace? Because it is in the knowing that there is something bigger than me. So when a person feels overwhelmed, to know that there is something bigger than themselves, that there is something more all-knowing than themselves, and hoping that that will show a certain light, a certain path forward, feels like a relief. So even if the person is a doctor themselves, if they're going to specialists now for the condition they have, while their logical mind will go like, yes, but this is what I need, there is some relief in being able to surrender to someone and go like, all right, this person is going to help me with this. So one is that we look at assigning that blame outwards in so many situations, and we always do, because it helps take the load off. So when a person suddenly is met with the reality that everything has to do with the self, it completely could jar them up, and they might freeze, they might want to run away from that reality. You see how much we resist spending time just by ourselves. The COVID era has shown us that more than ever. A lot of people, while they struggled with the symptoms, most people came out and said the toughest part was just having nobody around, just being alone. Physically, of course, but even mentally, emotionally, so many times we struggle to just sit by ourselves. So if there's a time you're just sitting by yourself, how many of us actually just sit and think? We'll pull our phones out, we'll, find something to do in that room. We want to engage ourselves where we're not sitting and just thinking of our thoughts or considering what life has to say. Even if sometimes as an assignment, we're told that, okay, now just for this one little thing, sit down with yourself for 5 minutes and think about what it is. We've done so many introspection exercises over the course of Daily Theta, where we've spoken about, why don't you guys go back home and introspect about this? And it'll be a small aspect. But if you're honest with yourself, how many of you actually end up doing that? Even when you with complete dedication are sitting here, with complete dedication wish to do that. Just the fact that at a certain level, if we might be running away from the power that we hold over our lives, and it's scary because we feel like we don't know the answers. A baby feels like they don't know how to walk. Like, an adult has to show them how to do it. But a baby never questions that. They just realize no matter what, I'm just going to keep doing something till I end up standing and walking. They don't come and ask us, Mama, can you show me how to walk? They'll just keep doing something. If you're there to help them, great. If you're not there to help them, great. They're going to figure it out. You see their little mind so many times just looking at something and figuring it out. My son recently over the weekend, it's his new thing is to climb the slide the reverse way and then get down. So the slide came in a few days back and he was going on it and he looked at it twice. He went on the reverse side, figured that like he by himself went, took a step, figured that he doesn't know how to do this thing that is there, and decided to go back to the steps, climb on it and go down the slide. I was so confident at that point that, it's only a matter of time before he's going to figure that out. So while he in front of us kept doing the normal slide, his little head was engineering what kind of balance is needed. Now, very confidently, even if he's talking to someone else, he's watching the television, anything, he'll climb the slide the reverse way. So first he figured climbing the slide the reverse way. Then he didn't know how to get down. So he was jumping and obviously he could fall. So then just telling him twice that, put your leg here on this step and then come down. And it like to find that balance. Now, no matter what he's doing, even if he's talking to you, watching television, doing everything, In his head, he knows absolutely clearly that that is what he needs to do, and that is exactly what he does. So when they have guidance, great. When they don't have guidance, is also equally fine. They find a way to do that. But somewhere as we grow, for whatsoever reason, for the instances that are there, for the things that we hear, for the judgments we place upon ourselves, I have to perform to this standard. We're going to take up self-worth, self-respect, self-doubt, so many of the things that you've all mentioned. And any situations that come to each of you at that point also, we'll take a special day for each thing if required, so we can do a good release for each of those things. But of course, the journey is inwards. But these particular standards we place for ourselves that we have to achieve to know that we're doing well enough, we don't have them as kids. A kid is absolutely happy dawdling or running or crawling. There'll be a 1-year-old who runs. There'll be one who will crawl and who is not fazed at all by the fact that the other one is running. Even if they're twins, they're just happy doing what they're doing. Till we feel the pressure or pressure them and feel like, no, they have to do this, they're learning at their own pace. And they know that they know the answer. They don't question their age, they don't question their experience as to figuring something out. And just look at how they learn. It doesn't even mean they have to do it 10 times to do it, which means we all also have that skill. And just the fact that I see that every day becomes such affirmation for the same. There'll be a box, they won't keep opening it till they figure it out. But I don't know what goes on in their little head of theirs. But 2 days after looking at that box and looking at how you're doing it, when you're not even teaching them, it's not a teachable moment. I do not want my child opening all the boxes in my house. You know, you have those fidget boards where you teach them how to open locks and all. Something I'm absolutely not getting. Because I think I'm doing just fine without having to run around behind him, seeing him open every door and every drawer and everything that I've put, and then having to clear all that up. I have such confidence that he is going to learn that anyway. So they're just looking, right? You're having a conversation, they're coloring on the side, they're doing something else. You're opening that box of medicine, putting it in your water, mixing it up. Suddenly, out of nowhere, after 2 days, I'll have him just like, the box is lying there. You're so confident they're not going to do anything with it. They'll probably just make some noise. Go to the room, come out. Suddenly, there's powder everywhere. And I'm like, who opened this for him? And the answer is nobody. He's just figured out suddenly how to open it. So they figured that out. Sometimes he'll come to me and randomly say words which do not make sense to me at that point because I don't know that they understand that. Medicine, mix. Once I must have told him, yes, we need to shake, wait, I need to shake this medicine, then give it to you. So just wait 1 second. So he tells me, waiting, shaking. I'm like, okay. So now he just assumes that it has to be, I have to take it, I have to shake it, and then I have to give it. So then I can have it right away. So they understand. So we also come from that inherent ability of being able to look around us. So all your lessons that come to you, you don't need to go through that every time yourself. You can look around you and learn also. In fact, I wanted to do a whole week of what we can learn from kids because there's so much we can learn from kids. Just understanding that that is what each of us has come from. So there's no difference there. All right. But now coming back to the thought of everything starts and ends with the self, it can be extremely scary as we discussed. And the reason we discussed that is because there's no shying away from that. That is the reaction we get most of the time. You want to manifest? No, what if I manifest something wrong? You want to do, no, what if it goes wrong? You're like, it's happening anyway. The second, and the view that we want to get it to, is how empowering it can be. It means that no matter how big the mess is, the answer is with you. You have the key. No matter how messy the situation is, you have the key to walk right outside, right out of that door. Nobody has trapped you. Nothing can trap you. Whether it's an illness, whether it's a relationship, whether it's feeling stuck at work, whether it's anything at all. It all starts and ends with our thought. So we want to make this journey towards the self. And a big part of this journey that we want to make towards the self is going to be actually about realizing who you are. That is a center point that I realized time and again, no matter how many sessions happened. Different people would come in for different issues, completely different issues, which have nothing to do with each other. One might come in because they want to have a baby, another comes in because they want to start their own business, third comes in because they have a critical illness, a fourth comes in because of a relationship issue, a fifth comes in because, they're very anxious all the time. But the one thread that I noticed that, it would come to a lot of different emotions that they had pent up, that they had held, that were within their system. Maybe a different set of perspective that they needed. But what it would mostly boil down to would somewhere be them losing that connection with themselves, with who they are. They would speak about how, as life progressed, like if you just ask them, what are you really passionate about, or what makes you really happy? Like, I am not quite sure, because there would be an answer that rolls off your tongue as an instinct. Oh no, this makes me happy. But when asked what really makes you happy, like when you're doing this, you're in that zone and nothing else. What are you passionate about? What would you love to do with your life? Who are you? It eventually draws to a certain question mark. And then they speak about situations, about people, about, their own judgment, how so many things have changed them. So now they don't know who they are. And that is where a lot of the journey gets lost. I can operate at my most authentic self when I know who I am. If I've lost myself along the journey, then everything feels incomplete because I'm operating off other molds, other standards, not to my best ability. So connecting them to themselves was the key to all of the situations. That's when we actually came up with one of the strongest courses that is there in the B program also, which is Being You. The whole course is centered around connecting you to you. Different angles, different aspects, different questions you're thinking of, different releases you're doing. But connecting you to you. And that's the one course after which we've just done once yet. Where people said, okay, things just completely transformed very, very quickly. For those that truly accepted it. For those that truly made the best out of it. So this week, we look at least taking in a few aspects of those things, understanding who we are, understanding where we may be losing ourselves in the process, releasing the self-doubt, the self-judgment, the self-anger, the self-worth that people have spoken about wanting to address. We'll take different aspects of it. What I urge each of you to do is be here on time. We'll be discussing that. And I will be giving you all a slide forum as to if you want to put anything on that day, on the particular topic that we're discussing on that day in the chat, so that whenever we would be doing the B round, we'd be doing the releases, we'd be doing the downloads, we'd include that. Other than that, we have a lot of your messages. So we have a lot of the things that you guys want worked on. All right. So are you guys all set for this week? And to make your journey towards you and not having to do it alone, not having to do it through introspection, at least at this point. So we'll do a little bit of hand holding and then let you sort of, see where that takes you. I'm going to quickly just see if there's any downloads to do for everyone for today. And then we're going to wrap this session. It's going to download for each person that I know and understand the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of the self, that I know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to connect to myself, for me to see myself as the amazing person that I am, for me to embrace myself for all my unique qualities and for who I truly am, for me to be able to understand and see myself from the perspective that the people who love me see me, that the creator of all that is sees me, to be able to understand myself, see myself, and be compassionate towards myself through the perspective of the universe, of the creator of all that is, that loves me so unconditionally, that I know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to embrace and accept every part of myself and to see every part of myself as whole and complete, and to know what it feels like to know that I deserve to be connected to myself and to operate with my best potential, to connect to who I truly am, and to allow for this journey to be a happy one, a joyous one, a one that is true to our soul's divine purpose. That I know and understand the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of change, of confidence, and of what it feels like to be able to have the confidence within myself, to be able to take this journey forward joyously and happily, to know what it feels like, to understand how empowering it is, to know that everything starts within the self, and that I allow myself to have this empowerment and to trust myself along this journey, knowing and understanding that the creator of all that is, and that all the support that I need is always by my side, but that it is safe and possible for me to take this empowered journey by myself now, and to know what it feels like to take on this journey of the self while knowing still what it feels like to be part of loving relationships, to be part of a joyous balance and interdependence with the people that I choose in my relationships in society. That I know what it feels like to download and instill these feelings into every cell, atom, molecule of my body, every area of my life, at all four levels of my belief system, for my highest and best, and in my highest and best manner. Say yes to receive these downloads. Okay. So have a fabulous day today, everyone, with yourselves. If there's anything that comes to your mind, note it down and just enjoy getting to know yourself. We've barely not even touched the tip of the iceberg today, but it's just an introduction, and we're going to take the week as it comes. See if you can come in at 9, most of you, because otherwise the first 5 minutes I generally see if I can push the meaty stuff to after 5 minutes, so that people do not miss it and do not have to join the conversation midway. But let's see, let's begin tomorrow fresh and early, and let's start this journey and make it a beautiful one. Take care. See you all tomorrow.